Coming up, a Minneapolis art gallery opens its doors to Native creatives. The Super Bowl comes to Phoenix. What does this mean for local tribes? Mary Kim Titla joins us to talk about sex trafficking. Plus, who really runs the country? Mark Trahant looks at corporate boards and who's on them. I'm Mackenzie Allen Charmley. Join us for those interviews, plus headlines from the ICT Newscast.
This program is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people.
Arizona State University welcomes 3,500 Indigenous students from Arizona and across the nation. It serves one of the largest populations of Indigenous students among U.S. colleges and universities. We created a sense of place for tribal nations to create futures of their own making through community outreach and research, taught by world-class Indigenous faculty where they see a reflection of themselves and their experiences. Find community at ASU.
Chinangale, we're so glad you could join us. We start in Russia, where new data is showing a sharp decline in the country's indigenous population. Of Russia's 47 officially recognized indigenous groups, over 2/3 have dropped in size. According to the 2021 All-Russian Population Census, 67% of indigenous peoples have decreased compared to data from 2010. Native people make up less than 0.001% of the population, totaling a little more than 83,000 people. Indigenous Russian nations include the Karaks of Chukotka, Nenets from the Russian Arctic, and the Evenks in Siberia's Yakutia region. Research points to a lagging economy and the invasion of Ukraine as primary factors for the decline. According to an indigenous spokesperson, deaths from the events of that conflict will affect Native people for generations. Currently, 100 indigenous Russian deaths have been confirmed during the invasion, but those numbers are believed to be much higher. The drum and dance troupe Yellowbird Productions recently partnered with the Superstition Mountain Museum in Arizona to host a Native Arts Festival. Ripley Simone Kennebrew has this story.
Superstition Mountain Museum hosted the 5th annual Native American Arts Festival this past weekend. Yellowbird Productions organized the event to showcase Indigenous music, dancers, and art. Co-founders Ken and Doreen Duncan sourced specific master artists in hopes of educating the public. The artists have been recognized by their communities as practitioners of traditional art.
We do these presentations, specifically this event here at the Superstition Mountain Museum, mainly to educate, but also we use entertainment, we use our songs and dances to educate the public about the positive attributes of Native culture.
The Apache Crown dancers performed first. Their routine was part of a healing and renewal ceremony meant to protect their nation. Talon Duncan from Yellowbird Productions performed a hoop dance, and Renee Blackwater danced her fancy shawl style.
So I am dancing the women's fancy shawl dance. It is more of a contemporary style of dance, but it is shown all throughout the United States and Canada in a performance called the powwow. So there's many different stories about how the dance came to be, but my favorite is that a woman, traditional dancer, had gotten into a tie and she wanted to do something different. She wanted to be more flamboyant with her moves, her steps, and the way she does her dance to make it more stand out. So she put her shawl that's normally worn on her arms and threw it around her shoulders and imitated the men's style of the fancy dance.
There is so much knowledge to gain and excitement shown all across this event. All the performers and master artists are so proud to show off their culture and heritage. In Phoenix, Arizona, Ripley Simone Kennebrew, ICT News.
In Australia, a new referendum to ensure Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders have representation in Parliament is on thin ice. This general vote seeks to add language to the country's constitution so that Native people have a voice in lawmaking. The Recognize a Better Way campaign features Aboriginal officials speaking about their community's needs. Bundjalung citizen and politician Warren Mundine is asking for better legislation and ministers to be more active in their jobs. Officials are also advocating for campaign funding to be used in Aboriginal communities instead. However, the referendum is not getting enough traction, it seems, with only 47% of the public supporting it. A vote could take place sometime in mid-2023. In Chile, a teenage rapper is using her talent to advocate for indigenous rights. MC Milare uses her lyrics to highlight the 500-year struggle of indigenous people in Chile against European colonization. A Mapuche citizen, Milare's nation makes up 80% of the country's total indigenous population. Many of the artist's songs speak to environmental injustices and the need for more protections of Native children. The musician is also gaining global popularity, even singing in New York City's Times Square during Climate Week. Her social media is filled with supporters thanking the artist for her advocacy. And though the 16-year-old can't vote just yet, MC Milare continues to use her platform to raise awareness for Indigenous people's rights. And those are the headlines for the ICT Newscast. It's a penalty. That's the push to get people aware of an issue that's faced by large events and sports gatherings around the globe: human trafficking. The Super Bowl is coming to Phoenix February 12th, and local tribal community members are concerned. Joining us is Mary Kim Titla. She's the Executive Director of Unity, the United National Indian Tribal Youth Incorporation. She joins us today in studio. Welcome, Mary Kim.
Thank you so much for having me.
To start, tell us about this effort to bring attention to the issue of sex trafficking within sports.
Absolutely. Unity, which stands for United National Indian Tribal Youth, is excited to be part of this effort to bring awareness to a very serious problem. And so I'm going to share some statistics that I hope will help people understand the issue as it relates to Native people. Now, we know that Indigenous people make up less than 2% of the U.S. population. But in terms of human trafficking, Native people account for 25%. And so when it comes to sex trafficking, it's even worse. It's about 40%. So this is an important effort, and Unity has joined many organizations, the hospitality industry, NFL, or organizations, and we've teamed up to make sure that we're getting the message out that this is something to be aware of.
And in Phoenix, is sex trafficking an issue that tribal communities face?
It's a huge problem everywhere, and of course, in Phoenix, we have a large Indigenous population, and we want to make sure that our young people are aware that this is a problem that exists. And it's a scary topic to talk about, but it's an important topic. So it's important for parents, for caring adults to talk to young people about this issue and to be aware of their surroundings. So making sure that they're in safe places, because we know that a lot of Native young people are vulnerable, and it's easy to get caught up in this type of situation.
You mentioned that it's really easy to get caught up in those kinds of situations. What are some of the signs that people can look out for if they suspect wrongful action?
Well, a lot of young people are targeted at places where they like to hang out. So shopping malls being one of those places. So it's important to just be aware of your surroundings, to practice safety, to be thinking through what you might be looking out for, anything suspicious, or if you're feeling uncomfortable around a person, to make sure that you're, making sure that an adult is aware, and making sure that if, security has to be contacted, that, they are making those calls. We just want to make sure that our young people are being safe.
A lot of people are going to be coming in town for the Super Bowl. How can tribal communities get involved with festivities?
This is an exciting time because our Indigenous people are actually being highlighted in different ways. And of course, just directly, already we have an Indigenous artist who's being featured on a mural, or her mural, I should say, is being featured. And so that's pretty exciting. We also have a Navajo man who's going to be doing the signing for America the Beautiful during the Super Bowl. And I personally know what that's like because back in 1996, I was involved in the Super Bowl festivities at the pre-show with the signing of the national anthem, and so that was pretty exciting. This is an exciting time on many levels because, of course, economically, tribal nations benefit, especially those that are in the immediate area with their gaming venues and hotels, and so it's going to be a huge boost to tribal economies, but also local artists who get an opportunity to take part in weekend festivals or, are able to get that attention, also benefit economically.
What are some of the takeaways or messages that tribal communities want all these new visitors to take with them?
Mainly, we're still here. We are survivors. We're here. We have a rich and vibrant culture. We have unique languages. We have history. And of course, acknowledging that while they're here, the first peoples of the land, I think that's so very important. And that they'll educate themselves about the Indigenous people in the area, because we have contributed in many ways to not only the history of this state, but the history of this country. So I'm glad that our Native people are getting the opportunity to be highlighted, and many of our gaming tribal nations are also, of course, sponsors of the Super Bowl. And so this is an opportunity for people to be educated about Indigenous people.
Moving on to your organization, Unity, what updates can you share with any upcoming events or festivities?
Thank you for asking. Unity is the largest and oldest Native youth leadership organization. We have a network of youth councils around the country, more than 300. Many of them are going to be coming in the next month to Tempe, Arizona for our mid-year conference. So that's one of our signature events. And of course, we focus on not only leadership development, but advocacy. And so if there are people who want to find out more information, they can go to our website, unityinc.org. We have our national conference coming up in Washington, D.C. this summer, and we're expecting more than 2,000 Native youth and their advisors to be attending that event. We do offer year-round programming, so there's something for everyone, whether you're part of a youth council or not. We want youth to get plugged in, so ages 14 to 24, so high school through college are invited to take part. And it's really a wonderful opportunity to build your skills, whether it's public speaking or whether it's, just leadership development. I went through the program myself, and so it's something I'm very passionate about. It helped me to be the person I am today.
Well, Mary Kim, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
How should Indigenous people be represented in society? It's a question that comes up all the time in Congress, sports, on television, in movies, and now in the corporate boardroom. ICT's Mark Trahant reports. It's part of the Indigenous Economics Project with the funding from the Bay and Paul Foundations.
There are not many stores that are more high dollar than Saks Fifth Avenue. It's a little Hollywood, New York, all glitz. But there is another story, one about colonization. Think about your day. We are all surrounded by corporate influences. Companies tell us what's good to eat, where we should shop, or how to save our money. Then it's been that way for a long time. And that brings us back to Saks. It's owned by one of the first corporations to trade with indigenous people, Hudson's Bay, a company that opened its doors in 1607. These companies have been selling to us for a long time. But what if indigenous people were included? What if we had representation in this framework? You see, corporations, like governments, have a structure, and that includes a board of directors. These are the men and a few women who are legally obligated to run those companies. And in 5 centuries, few indigenous people have been invited to a seat at that table. In Chicago, Mary Smith, a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, is changing that narrative.
Well, I'm a lawyer, and I focused on corporate governance for a lot of my career and also highly regulated industries. And so a few years back, I started wanting to be on corporate boards, but I find it really fascinating and interesting and hope that I'm making a difference too, because as a board member, you're helping set a direction for a company and an organization and help them overcome their challenges and, hopefully help people.
There are some 4,000 companies traded on Wall Street. Each has a professional board member who is responsible for corporate governance. The number of American Indians and Alaska Natives represented on those boards is far less than 0.1%. Smith has the resume for this type of post. She is an attorney, and she has been the chief executive officer for the U.S. Indian Health Service, a $6 billion a year operation.
I think for most people, you're not going to get a call out of the blue. Some people do, but I think you have to put yourself out there and, first of all, ask yourself, why do I want to be on a corporate board? And what value will I bring? And then also put yourself out there so that people know that you want to be on a corporate board, because there are recruiters that recruit for corporate boards, but the vast majority of board seats are still filled through networking.
Smith is on the board for PTC Therapeutics, Inc. It's a publicly traded global biopharmaceutical company that helps provide medicine to patients with rare disorders. This is a job, and she is paid more than $30,000 a year to serve, according to the company's report with the Securities and Exchange Commission. On top of that, she is awarded both options and stocks that depend on the success of the company. These together could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Well, $30,000 is a lot of money. It's not as much as the average board seat. According to the search firm Spencer Stewart's annual report, the total average compensation for a board seat is $312,000 per year. This type of compensation shows that serving on a corporate board is a good gig. Yet the number of indigenous people who hold such seats is really tiny. But this is a moment when that could be changing. More regulators are asking companies to show they are recruiting and appointing diverse directors. More regulators are asking companies to show how they are recruiting and appointing diverse directors. And more investors are judging companies based on their diversity and inclusion results. Assemblyman James Ramos serves in the California legislature, and he explains the logic of this law.
It's very important to have representation, especially from the Native American community, because it serves as two different folds. One, to make sure that representation of not only California's First People, but the nation's First People has a voice in driving the economics of our communities and of our state and of our nation.
And there is another important lesson. Boards are appointed from a network of other board members. So for hundreds of years, white men looked around and appointed each other, white men, people they knew. Now that net is being cast wider because people like Mary Smith have their own networks.
But I would love to see more Native Americans on boards, and I hope that some people would start to say, yeah, I could do that, and then try to put themselves out there to be on the radar for people being on board.
The challenge for corporate boards is to get beyond their usual suspects, to look for the talent pool that is Indian country. In Chicago, I'm Mark Trahant for ICT Newscast.
When Indigenous people leave their homelands for the city, how do they find connections to culture? For many years, urban Indians in Minneapolis have gravitated towards the Phillips neighborhood and Franklin Avenue. The American Indian Cultural Corridor's identity is the work of the Native American Community Development Institute. All My Relations Artists Art Gallery is an economic initiative of NACTI. Gallery Director Angela Two Stars joins us today. Welcome, Angela.
Hi, good morning.
To begin, can you tell us about the neighborhood?
Yes, so the American Indian Cultural Corridor is the most dense area of urban American Indians in Minneapolis. Our gallery is located directly on Franklin Avenue, and we are a kind of cultural hotspot that uplifts and promotes contemporary American Indian art on Franklin Avenue. We're a cultural destination, a tourist destination in the Twin Cities.
And what kind of art shows does All My Relations feature?
We have a variety of art. Our purpose, our mission is to uplift the strength of contemporary American Indian artists. And so we do that through a variety of exhibitions that highlight solo artists, group exhibitions, all around topics that are important and relevant to American Indian people, issues around like identity, culture, language, family, everything that is important to our community and the American Indian culture at large is what we highlight in our exhibitions. And artists just have a way of sharing these important messages through their artwork that the general audience can able to embrace and understand and learn about who we are as American Indian people.
And what kind of partnerships help bring the arts to life in your area?
We have a variety of partnerships. Right now, we're working with Hennepin Theater Trust on a large-scale public art cohort called the We Are Still Here cohort. This year, we're featuring 3 artists along with a mentor artist who are working on mural design. And that allows this group of artists to learn the skills and techniques of working in mural art. And that is to share that visibility of American Indian people through artworks on large-scale public facades along Hennepin Avenue in Minneapolis and the American Indian Cultural Corridor. We've also had partnerships with the Minnesota Department of Transportation and other organizations that come to us looking to share knowledge of the American Indian people in the Twin Cities with their audiences. And so we do a lot of like cross-pollination of our audience bases.
I know in the past you've worked with writers. Could you touch more on that?
Yes, we have a great program in progress right now. It's called the Native Authors Program, and this is our 2nd year that we've been hosting this group of artists, again, led by a experienced Native author. This year's Art Coulson. Our first group was led by Diane Wilson, and these are established, seasoned Native writers, and our goal is to provide opportunity, training, and support to Native writers and using the same processes that we've done to support Native artists, because our goal is to have more Native writers telling our stories and having more Native writers becoming published writers.
And tell us how the pandemic changed your work and the way that you do business today.
Well, the pandemic, we all started to work remotely and really focused on our internal health as an organization. A lot of our work was focused on supporting artists, because the pandemic impacted artists so much. In Minneapolis, we were dealing with a dual pandemic, which was, the COVID-19, but also the social uprisings after the murder of George Floyd. And so our gallery itself actually ended up becoming a hub for donations that came in after the uprisings during that period of time. And we really worked to support artists in the community and responding to what they needed at the time, and just transitioning ourselves to what the community was needing from our organization, and also taking care of ourselves, focusing on self-care. I think it was a big thing within our organization of making sure that we were all getting through that difficult period together.
You yourself are an artist. Tell us about your work.
Yes, I actually am a practicing public artist. I have a piece in the Walker Art Center, the Minneapolis Sculpture Garden has my piece called Okchiapi, which is a tribute to my Dakota language. I'm currently in the middle of installing an exhibition that opens up this Saturday at St. Catherine's University, and it's called Reconnected, which is sharing the story of how reconnecting with the Dakota language for myself has been part of my own healing journey, and sharing that message with the audience that's coming to view my work, and just reinforcing the vitality of Dakota language and how that translates to other tribal communities who are also working in language revitalization, and how important that is to our cultural healing.
We've reached the end of our time here, but thank you so much for Angela Two Stars for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
And that's a slice of our Indigenous world. For all the latest, visit ictnews.org. From all of us in the newsroom, stay safe, my relatives.
This program is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people.